just a fantastic day. Top it off, I get to talk to the press, and even more fantastic opportunity.
How much do you enjoy stuff like this, coming out here and hanging out with soldiers?
Well, hanging out with soldiers is one of my real great pleasures because you learn some of the subtleties that soldiers are feeling from some of the decisions we make in Washington. And so you get a sense. If you put it all together, it's sort of like a puzzle. I mean, this is just one piece in this. Early January is when sequestration would have to take place if nothing is done between now and then. There is a possibility, as we hear, that they might do postpone sequestration for a few months, which means that it would line up with the current resolution that we just passed. So if all those things happen at once, it's like the perfect storm. We would have fairly dramatic cuts across all services, and we'd have to do them very quickly. And as you know, we can't turn this big ship called defense quickly. Plus the risk that it puts us in terms of making mistakes and cutting the wrong things. But we understand that there is an anxiety with these long deployments for so long. And so we're looking forward to bringing our forces back to be able to reset and to train for the Army of the future. The only thing I'd like to add to all that that people don't think about is what else the Army brings to the country. So if you think about all the areas that the Army's involved in, medicine, engineering, where we make great contributions to the country, both in terms of disaster relief and the Corps of Engineers building our nation's infrastructure. These are things that the Army does on a routine basis, and they are a great addition to our country's economic development. So our force is not just deployed fighting these battles overseas. Most of our force is engaged every day in supporting various aspects of our U.S. and international economy. We've got to know better what our reserve component, Army, National Guard, and reserves bring to the nation's force, and how we can integrate it better, continue to integrate it better. We've got to understand that better. You look at a map of the United States, and you look at you divide it. You put a line across the middle of the country. The active Army is highly concentrated in the southeast, and with some in Texas, and of course in the southwestern states. And we have one installation in California in the desert, the National Training Center. But if you look at the north, we've only got two active Army installations: Fort Drum, way up state New York, and Fort Lewis in Washington, literally on the East Coast. And in the middle, what we have is the Guard and the Reserve. And that's hugely important to us, to have that presence, to have Americans understand what our Army does, to have that integration there, because that's where your vast population centers are. Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania. These are states where we don't have an active military presence. And so people don't grow up around soldiers, they don't grow up around military bases. This is what they know in Minnesota. And if they can see the good things that are going on here, the kinds of soldiers that are serving our country from here in the reserve, there'll be more support, there'll be more understanding of what our Army does and its role out there in the world, and the high level of ethics and values that we bring every day to the lives of people around us. So I think it's important for us to see this and to understand it.